So here's the new train design. So the story behind this is kind of funny. So I originally was going to buy a new Bluetooth motor system for the Lego layout because the previous motor I used, if you don't know, was a infrared system motor, and those are surprisingly outdated by this point. I've had mine for a long time and it was starting to wear out. Apparently, they die out if they're exposed to sunlight for extended periods of time, which I was unaware of when I was younger when I had the thing, but now I've switched over to a Bluetooth motor. Now, this Bluetooth motor was given to me for the Lego City by my brother because he had a Bluetooth motor train that he no longer uses. So, big thank yous to him for that. And I designed it a custom train for this city. So here's the new train for the Lego City, and this is actually using the new Bluetooth motor system, the Powered Up system, I believe it was called, from Lego. And I didn't have one of these motors previously. I was using one of the infrared systems or power function systems motors that Lego used to use for trains, and my motor and sensor was really beginning to die out. So I was starting to look around for a new motor, but surprisingly, my brother, who you might know from some of the other builds in the city, including the cool 3-story building here in the city that's built off the base of the idea of the Lego Creator 3-in-1 toy shop, and the greenhouse over here, he actually had a motor still, and he wasn't using it for his train at the time being, so he gifted it to me, and now I'm able to use trains in the city again to their fullest potential. I have kept the other motor around since it does still work on 1 speed, and I figured that speed would be good for a freight train in the future. So stay tuned for a video on that. But for now, let's take a look at what I did for this train. You can see I kept the idea of the windshield in the front, but I made it much more of a bullet train type shape. I wanted to go more into the Ninjago style with this train as well, so... So here's the new train in the Lego City. Now, the previous train I used in this city was one of the Lego City sets that used the Power Functions Lego train system with a motor that had like I believe it was an infrared sensor or something like that. And that sensor is pretty much dead, so the train can only go at 1 speed, and it's pretty slow, so I didn't want to use that on the new train, so I was looking to pick up a new powered-up sensor instead of the power functions pieces I was using previously. Now, surprisingly, my brother actually had one, and he wasn't using it. Now, if you don't know, my brother has also been into Lego, not as much as he used to, but he has built some things for the city, including the 3-story toy shop-inspired build from the ideas coming from the Lego Creator Toy Shop 3-in-1 set, as well as the greenhouse that'll be in the completed build when I do get to finishing off the botanical gardens. So, since he wasn't using his motor, he gave it to me, and now that motor is inside this new and improved train design for the Lego City. So now let's take a look at some details of the train, and then we'll take you around the layout. So here's the engine of the train. I made sure to cover up almost every section I could. Luckily, there's no sensor part that has to stick out on these new trains like the old trains did have to. So I was able to close the top up completely. And you can see I kind of went for a bullet train style design with a very aerodynamic shaped front, and there's a black line that goes all the way from the front all the way across the top of the train, and that will continue to the train cars. So I made sure to use the same windshield piece, I really do enjoy it, and made some bigger windows for this, and added some sticker pieces from the previous trains that I had to create the logo on the side of the trains, as well as some vents for the engine. Now, in-universe, this would be an electric train, just like all of the other vehicles in the LEGO City, aside from the spaceport stuff at this point in time. So, there really is kind of a fitting explanation for why there's an electric motor filled with batteries inside the train, which is kind of funny. So, the actual motor is in the back of the train, it's all covered up, and you can just remove this little section up here, and that allows you into the train to turn the button on, and the motor itself can be lifted up with the entire roof of the train as well, if you want to. Now, moving on to train cars, you can see I didn't use the magnetic couples, and that's because when the train hits top speeds and goes around corners, the couples sometimes detach when they're using the magnetic bits that LEGO's official part uses. So I kind of took some inspiration from one of the newest LEGO streetcar trains that they introduced this year, and I just decided to use those Technic-type pieces and modified it to fit this train design, so now the train can still turn corners, go up and down hills like it does, but also, this design makes sure that the train itself will not detach the cars when it's actually going through. And both the cars are actually pretty much the same, aside from the secondary one, which just has a window going all the way around the back, which I think is a very cool design choice, and it kind of fits in line with the other train we have here that we did a video on last time, so you can check that one out when you're done with this video if you haven't seen that yet. Also, you can see on the top I've added these little details to make it almost look like the shrines or rooftops of Ninjago-style buildings. Thought this kind of be a fun inclusion to add to this train, and it does kind of fall in line with the black stripe going on the front of the train too, so pretty much a very overall good train design. But without further ado, let's take this thing on a loop around the city so I can showcase what we've done today in the LEGO City. So here we go. You can see it's already, this is the slowest speed, by the way, and it's already moving pretty quickly. If I rank up the speed a little bit, we can see that it does move along the tracks pretty well. We're going to go all the way around the back here, and we're going to stop right as it goes up this hill here. It actually stops pretty quickly, too, which is something I like about these newer motors. But let's take a look at what we've got over here for LEGO City. We can see I've added in a train station to the city over here, and all of this track here that's elevated now has tiles and grill tiles all over it to add some more detail and make it look more like a sturdy bridge and less like just floating tracks, which I think is pretty cool. Additionally, what we've done for Christmas today in the LEGO City was we've given a pretty cool brick-built Christmas tree over here to the farm, and it just uses a bunch of green plates stacked on top of each other and some transparent pieces for ornaments, as well as a Christmas tree farm area in the forest next to it where the forest will be. And this is just to show that people can get their Christmas trees locally within the city without having to go outside of the city to get them too much. And that's just what we're doing for the city today. But you'll see that these trees designs will come up further later on in the month as we're adding more decorations to the city, so stay tuned for all that. Now let's move the train on back to the front of the station so you can see what it looks like when we're all over at the front of the train station. It can really fetch some high speeds, but has good control over where you put it. We're going to stop it over here so that we can actually take a look at the train station. So, this train station I'm going to take a look at one more time because in one of the future videos we're going to be moving this a little bit, so it might not look the same as it does now. But I did want to make note of something else I've done to the LEGO City that I've been working on that's going to take quite a lot of parts. And that's all of these brown pieces you can see here. And these are supposed to represent the railroad ties on the train tracks, and I haven't really gotten them all the way around the city yet. It takes a lot of pieces to do this, and I don't have all those parts yet, but it's a cool little detail that adds some realism to the city that I did want to put in, and to also showcase that there's more people on the platform now, and the train is already filled up with people too, so this train is much more in-universe designed to be the main passenger train as opposed to the steam-like locomotive design, which is meant to be more for the rich people to ride in. And that just about does it for the rest of the stuff we've got to look at in today's LEGO City content. Tune in next time to see what the new LEGO freight train looks like, and we're going to be taking a look at some other different freight car designs that'll also work for this LEGO City. Thank you for all checking on this video, and if you haven't seen any of the other videos, feel free to check them all out. I've been doing more than one video per week for the month of December, just because I have a lot of projects that are almost near completion. It's more than I typically upload, but I am enjoying the style of uploading this much. So enjoy some of the videos to come in the future, and I'll see you all next time. Have a great day.